December 2nd marks the anniversary of one of the bloodiest and most consequential battles in Zulu history, the Battle of Ndondakusuka, fought in 1856 on the northern banks of the Thukela River near the Lower Drift. This devastating conflict was fueled by a fierce succession dispute among the sons of King Mpande Kasinzangakona, who had fathered many children, but deliberately kept his kingdom in suspense about his successor. By 1853, two contenders had risen above the rest: Prince Cetshwayo, with a stronger claim by lineage, and Prince Mbuyazi, who seemed to enjoy his father's personal favor. Decades after Shaka Zulu's death, the rivalry split the Zulu nation into factions, with Cetshwayo's Usuthu gaining popular support, while Mbuyazi's Izigkoza struggled to maintain influence. Sensing the growing tide against his favored son, King Mpande discreetly advised Mbuyazi to flee with his followers to Natal, much as Mpande himself had sought external aid in the past. In late November 1856, Mbuyazi made his move, leading a group of about 20,000 people, of whom only 7,000 were warriors. Upon reaching the Thukela River, swollen and impassable due to heavy rains, Mbuyazi's followers found themselves stranded on the Zulu side. Among them were white traders who had been caught in the unfolding crisis. These traders managed to herd their cattle onto sandbanks near the Natal shore in a desperate attempt to safeguard their assets. Mbuyazi appealed to the Natal authorities for help, but they were reluctant to intervene in what they saw as an internal Zulu affair. However, Captain Walmsley, the border agent, allowed his assistant John Dunn to cross the river with a contingent of armed Africans. Dunn went further than expected. He pledged to fight for Mbuyazi. Meanwhile, upon learning of Mbuyazi's flight, Prince Cetshwayo rallied his forces. Leading over 15,000 warriors, he set out in pursuit and reached the river on December 1st. Mbuyazi deployed his warriors along a ridge, hiding the non-combatants in the valleys behind them, while Dunn's musketeers took position on Mbuyazi's left flank. The battle began on the morning of December 2nd, with Cetshwayo orchestrating his forces in the classic Zulu chest and horns formation. Dunn's musketeers temporarily held back the advance of the Usuthu's right horn, but a moment of ominous symbolism shattered the Izigkoza's resolve. A gust of wind blew the tall crane feather from Mbuyazi's headdress, and its fall to the ground was interpreted as a dire omen. Panic swept through Mbuyazi's warriors, and their ranks collapsed. As they retreated from the ridge, they collided with the non-combatants hidden below, creating chaos. The Usuthu seized the moment, driving the Izigkoza toward the river. Hundreds were slaughtered on the battlefield, while others drowned or were devoured by crocodiles as they tried to cross. Bodies littered the river and the coastline for miles. Among the casualties was Prince Mbuyazi himself, while Dunn narrowly escaped with his life. The death toll was staggering. An estimated 15,000 Izigkoza lost their lives, and their remains continued to surface in the sugarcane fields that later grew on the battleground. After the battle, the victorious Usuthu crossed to the sandbanks, politely greeted the stranded traders, and drove off their cattle. Cetshwayo's triumph cemented his position as heir apparent, though he did not officially ascend the throne until Mpande's peaceful death in 1872. In the aftermath, Dunn approached Cetshwayo with a bold proposal. He would retrieve the traders' cattle in exchange for a share. Despite having fought for Mbuyazi, Dunn successfully negotiated with Cetshwayo, who returned the cattle and was so impressed by Dunn's audacity that he appointed him as his white advisor. This marked the beginning of Dunn's prominent role as a white chief in Zululand. The repercussions of the Battle of Ndondakusuka reverberated through Zulu politics for years. Cetshwayo worked to consolidate his power, eliminating rivals and forcing several princes into exile. When the Anglo-Zulu War loomed in 1878, some of these exiled princes, Mukungo, Mthonga, and Sikotha, sided with the British, hoping to regain influence. Several Izigkoza supporters even joined British colonial forces during the Isandlwana campaign, but their contributions earned them little reward. The battle's legacy extended to the Anglo-Zulu War itself. Distrust of white traders lingered, as Cetshwayo's supporters blamed them for inciting Mbuyazi's rebellion. This sentiment found expression in Cetshwayo's praises, which described him as the little branch of leaves that extinguished the great fire kindled by the white men. The phrase gained renewed significance during the Battle of Ndondakusuka in 1879, when it was used to rally Zulu warriors to a heroic charge under heavy British fire. Some critics of polygamy argue that the Battle of Ndondakusuka stands as a stark illustration of the devastating consequences such a system can produce, where rivalries among numerous heirs vying for power can escalate into catastrophic conflict. But is polygamy truly the primary culprit? Or does the issue run deeper, perhaps rooted in the dynamics of power, ambition, and political strategy? History often defies simple explanations, demanding a nuanced view of the complex factors at play. For more thought-provoking insights, don't forget to subscribe to Crimson History.